Dang.
It's my long-standing tradition to start off with something weird, and we're talking about carny love now.
Hey, carnies need love too.
What does a carny kiss taste like?
Toothlessness.
Cigarettes.
Toothlessness and tobacco.
Sadness.
Corn dog.
Yep.
Morning breath, always.
Regardless of
I keep thinking of this old Simpsons episode where like Bart and Homer like made friends with these carnies, and they had a bucket of caramel for candy apples, and it's just labeled just barf just to keep people away from it. And Homer just looked at it and just took a drink of it, and he's like, yeah, it's caramel.
Oh gosh, that's good Simpsons.
So upsetting.
I think that was right at that point. Like that was right at the cusp when they started like kind of going away from what they were, but it was still funny. All right, so who wants to play super quick catch up? Sarah, I know you watch the videos, and you rarely get to do this, so you're in the spotlight. Go.
I'm trying to think what we did to start. I know at the end we went and talked to Hazel, but y'all really start off because I only watched the last video this lesson, so I don't remember right now what we started out doing. We were
honestly pretty much it. Yeah. Peter brought his sword and his what was it, tomato and mustard sandwiches?
I'm thinking it was either tomato or it was like egg salad and mustard.
It was 100% tomato.
Because I've heard of tomato and mayonnaise. Like that to me makes sense somehow.
That's delicious.
It's not my jam, but I'm not going to use your yum. So we went into the school, and it was very dark and spooky, and we ended up walking down into the hall, and then there was a window sort of like covered in webs that we ended up sort of climbing through, and then that led into kind of like a weird extra dimensional space that apparently is Hazel's just like chill hang. And we went to go see her, and we had to sort of go through
crib.
Yeah. We had a crib filled with webs.
Over here's the webs. Over here's also the webs.
We had to keep Jeb from opening a wrapping thing.
It was moving, and it was human size.
I had to guilt you into it. Oops. I had to play that card. So then we ended up stumbling into her, and she's wearing the skin of a child, like a 7-year-old looking child that apparently she has to renew every 3 years because hosts, that's what they're called. They're
wearing a husk, but yes.
Yeah, wearing a husk. A host is the type of creature that lives inside human skin, and that's what she is. It's just so inside there's just like a million fucking spiders. And so we talked to her, and basically she was like, well, why the fuck should I help you? And we mentioned that the werewolves had told us about what was going on with Bechelou. She told us she was fucking sick of the werewolves. We said, no, you're just dealing with us. Don't worry about it. Peter made that point, and she seemed willing to go with it. We mentioned that they were breaking down the barriers between stuff. And so she's not thrilled with that. And she told us that she will help once we have a plan, essentially. And it turns out that Peter had found out that in his research that the individual like critters that live inside these hosts, one of them is basically like the prime one. So if you can kill that one, the bigger one, whichever one is like the main, then it will kill the entire creature. So if we can kill the one big rat inside of Geek, or the creature formerly known as Geek, then we take him out. And I think that's mostly it.
Oh yeah. Also, just for future minutes, Tyler's got to do his school thing because this whole pandemic thing is hitting us all in crazy ways, and law school is certainly not easier due to a pandemic. And if he ends up listening to this, we all wish him well. He's also kind of as a side project, Sarah. He's running a YouTube channel where he reviews craft beers, like like Michelob, Coors Light, craft beers.
Shot
Wait,
top,
did you say
Chase.
crap beers? I'm sorry.
What's it?
Did I hear you wrong? And you said crap beers?
Yeah.
Yes, craft beers.
That'd be a funny, run to do like the crap beer channel. No,
Yeah,
his channel's
well,
called the Bitter Upper Lip. You should look at him. He's got 2 videos up.
I'll put a link in the doobly-doo. Yeah. So yeah, visit Tyler's page, people who don't watch this. All right. So it's we're going to say, because I've not really been able to do anything with it, Beryl, you're healed up. No more bashing. So yeah, get rid of that tilt. I was thinking, you know what, this could be fun, but no combat happened last time, and that's perfectly fine. We still had fun. Everybody recover a point of willpower, because we'll say you guys got at least a good night's rest.
Yay.
Also, before the game started, Jeb, he used some of his experience to recover a point of integrity. And normally I was actually going to be like, all right, we're going to have a role play session where he makes a deep confession. And then Sarah ruined it by reminding me that he already made a deep confession.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, I got one in the bag then for you next time. Next time I recover integrity.
So yeah, a couple days have passed. You all have, lived your lives, and you all got a message from Officer Park to meet at the Skunk Ape expedition, because we all need to figure out what the next step is. They were going to give you a little bit of a heads up as to what they've found on their end. You guys were going to give them a heads up. They meet, past closing hours. So, what did we decide? Like 7-ish is when it usually closes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, about 7:15, 7:30, everyone starts to roll in. Excuse me.
Did they notice my newest exhibit?
What is the newest exhibit at the Skunk Ape migration?
I am working on a sign that is a werewolf with like the kind of Ghostbusters line through it, and it says "Werewolves, the real Ghostbusters."
Yes. I don't think they're going to be happy about that, but I love it.
Yeah. So when they roll in, when Park sees it, he's not rude about it or anything, but he's just like, do you think you really need to be like, blasting us out in public like that, Peter?
I mean, this is information, and people come to my museum for honest and critiqued information.
Destiny, when she rolls in, she just kind of looks at it, kind of cocks her head, and just goes, "Huh." And just that's all. Just walks in. Clancy, though, his bike pulls in. Because, of course, he rides a bike. I don't know if I said that earlier.
Yes.
He hops off. He looks at it, and he just laughs. It's
I love Clancy. I love Clancy.
He goes, Peter, you're something else, man. He walks in, kind of like gives you a warm pat on the back as he goes in.
I immediately kind of from my coat pull out one of those lint rollers and start trying to reach my back with it.
Oh, yes. Perfect.
All right, so everybody gets in. Jacob is off doing lawyer things, doing a few of the final touches on your case. Is there anything else that you guys, I'm not going to say, hey, rehash everything you just told for the summation, but is there anything else you guys, thoughts, anything like that, like personal things characters want to say? I'm going to assume you went ahead and relayed that, but is there any like little personal flares or touches or opinions you guys want to put out there?
I think Peter's all caught up. I think he's good.
Jeb's been thinking about how Miss Hazel has been taking a child every 3 years and is really distraught by that still. And he tells you all, he's like, I know we got bigger fish to fry, literally seeing the whole town, but I'd like to, B level sidebar, like to try to figure out how to get rid of Miss Hazel after this, because I really don't like that she's taking children every 3 years. I'm just saying. I know. Let's deal with the big stuff first, but secondary objective. I'm just saying.
I get why you're uncomfortable, and I'm not thrilled about the fact that like children disappear due to this, but at the same time, it sounds like she serves a purpose evidently, and might serve to intimidate things that are nastier.
I know.
To which Destiny says, "Yeah, that's kind of the thing." She says, "We're not happy about it either. We don't like either of them. We don't like either of them. Hosts. Let's just say we have a history. But it's kind of a mutual thing that we don't know why. But the whole area of Stonewall is at which point Clancy goes resonant, and she goes, "Yeah, that word." Spirits seem to really like it, and we don't want a kid dying every couple of years either, but
and pterodactyls. There might be one.
Peter, I believe it more and more every day.
Clancy goes, "You know what? On the other side of the gauntlet, I mean, I suppose it probably wouldn't be too far fetched. There's some places out there that look like the freaking dinosaur age."
I mean, I'm not trying to get sidetracked. I'm just saying. I just think it deserves a little thought later.
Okay.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Fair enough.
At which point Park says, "Yeah, while you guys were doing that, we were messing around on the other side of the gauntlet in the shadow, and we rallied a few allies. Turns out there's been a lot of talk lately over there about a lot of rat spirits, a lot of spirits of sickness starting to coalesce. No one really seems to be talking, or we can't tell if they know what's going on or if they don't. But we've managed to talk to a few on that end to help us out, whatever it is we end up doing. Which, in terms of Scavenger Wolf, though, they're just as perplexed as we are. He doesn't go over on that side anymore. We don't know if he can or if he can't. We know he really wants to be a human. Could just be that it could be he just refuses, or he could have lost the ability. But they're the wolf and dog spirits over there. They're as confused as the rest of us. But we do have allies over there that are willing to whatever we are to do, they're going to make sure that on the spiritual side of the war, they'll be taken care of. And the fact that Hazel says that she's willing to put up some webs across the gauntlet to keep him from escaping.
It's comforting.
So the only other thing is that even though we haven't seen, hide nor hair of heat, on the spirit side, there's a bunch of them gathered around where the trailer park is. It's reasonable to assume that he's still there in some way, form, or fashion. Which Clancy says, the question is, did he get a new body, or like what's happening?
Clancy, that was my exact thought, because with Hazel getting a new host every 3 years, new husk every 3 years, and we seemingly destroyed geeks, and really not geek anymore, I would assume, because his husk is hanging in Peter's bathroom.
So,
I've about dried it out.
Oh.
Get the dehumidifier
Clancy
in there,
just
bud.
chuckles and he goes junkie jerky, great.
Gosh.
Oh Christ. Are there like specific criteria for choosing a body into which like a host goes, or?
I imagine there's a preference, because Hazel always liked little girls or little children, so maybe the Bechlou wants a previously dirty guy that is now, they can kind of...
A nasty man.
A nasty man.
Clancy goes, well, it isn't so much a preference as it is a prime opportunity. In terms of a Bechlou, they they live in squalor and sickness, and they will find the first person they can get to. So, keep your apartment clean.
One of the Tiger King's next husbands, maybe.
I also believe we're missing a very large key. How are we going to both identify or take out the anchor rat, if you will? We don't really have a plan in place for that. I mean,
Peter, I was thinking about not a plan, but I guess more of a means. I mean, we need some way that we can contain the host himself with, the husk, and then just obliterate everything inside. So I was thinking something like a crematory. There's not really escapes from that, but we need some sort of like containment unit we can put it in and then just obliterate everything inside with fire or explosives or something. I mean, that's just kind of what I've been brainstorming over the last couple of days. Is kind of doing something like that.
Park says, and by the way, Beryl, you notice that Park's shirt, it's not necessarily say that it's a baby tee, but it's definitely bringing out, you're definitely making out the tonnage of his biceps.
Okay, all right. I'm not hating the view here, so all right.
Peter also notices that.
We're both just like, hello.
And Peter's jaw drops, his tongue rolls out, his eyes go Aruga.
Yeah. Jed's oblivious to what's going on and just doesn't get it at all.
But yeah, shit, what was I even saying with that? Oh yeah, so,
too handsome.
Yeah, just way too handsome. Oh yeah, way too damn handsome. So but no, he goes that, and this is assuming that he's even still taking the form of a human. They both have the ability to, the more shards they get, like they can essentially eat smaller versions, but they get bigger. Like, let's say that whatever was within Geek started, it found another host, and then it ate the shard within another host. He's going to get nastier.
In a shard, what do you mean by a shard?
Actually, Peter, you remember in your little research stuff, and taking back with what Hazel said, with talking about how every single, host is like a part of a greater thing. That's a shard. Like, the idea is they're all going to coalesce. So when a shard eats another shard, it's going to get bigger.
So explains to Jeb, when he found this information on Bethelu/geocities.com, that he explains.
Does it have little dancing like rats?
They're it's just a dance. Yep.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Okay. So does the literally just broken parts of the Bethelu, and so it can find other hold on one. So that means that the main one can eat the other one, literally, that's like in Stonewall at the same time, and become just a ginormous rat, right? Because there's two Bethelus here.
To which Destiny says, and Bubba, he smelled like a rat too. It could be possible that they merged. There's always that possibility.
Oh my god. Oh, it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
How
so
big could they
get?
get?
Container, like a bigger person to go inside. Because Geek wasn't like huge.
Cue my 600-pound life.
She says they start to look less and less human, and I mean, we've gone down to Atlanta to help out a few other packs, and we've seen some that take up entire sewer tunnels.
Okay. So we need in our plan.
She says, yeah, believe me, you do not want to be in the city where there's already a bunch of rats and there's a Bethelu infestation. It's pretty rough.
I don't want to be here right now, but
that's another reason not to go to New York.
At this point, though, we're just talking in circles. I think we need to decide whether we're going to go to him, which I'm against because there's many innocents in that area, or if somehow we can lure him to us.
Well, then, what lures a Bechelou then?
Nasty, gross, ickiness, right?
Yeah, to which, that's one thing Park says. He's like, well, we're fairly certain that he's back at the trailer, probably in that crawl space underneath it. I mean, I know you didn't exactly have a fun time down there, Peter, but I mean, it's his home. Like, that would definitely be where he would go back to no matter what.
We could warn the people who live in the trailer park. Maybe put out, sort of go door to door or something, or
I believe
somebody
Officer
else.
Park might have better insistence.
Yeah.
Than us.
If it's in the crawl space, it's a confined space, and theoretically, I mean, y'all don't see any other ways out besides the one way in. And I guess you could walk through a skin suit, but essentially, there's only one way in, so that means he's kind of trapped, and that we can kind of get him while he's in there.
And Clancy chuckles. He says, "Yeah, like a rat in a cage."
Yeah, my man.
Park, he says, well, normally we don't, like, let's say we're going to do a drug bust. Normally we don't necessarily go house to house warning the neighbors because they can talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and furthermore, I don't necessarily know how this would frame. And that's the kind of thing that if I start going around telling these people, hey, we're about to kick in some doors, and it turns out we don't, or worse, if, you know, a lot of violence starts happening, that could come back on me.
Okay.
But I mean, that being said, if there's any way that we could possibly think to where I could maybe talk to these people, like I said, we're open to as many ideas as you guys can throw out.
Maybe we can lure them instead of sticks. We need carrots.
You two fought it and are still alive.
I mean, barely.
You know what it is, though, but that's what I'm saying. Maybe it doesn't want you alive. Because you both being alive still is a liability, so we could use you two as bait?
That sounds like a plan. Honestly, I don't know.
I'm not thrilled about it.
I'm not thrilled for you. However,
I hate it, honestly.
I can't think of anything else that might lure this thing out.
If we're taking it out of its home, that sounds good because we know what it is. It knows we know. So I like that. So if we're trying to lure it out, we use us as bait. And if not, then I feel like if we're trying to get it in its nest, we can't alert anyone. If we're going down into its nest, how are the citizens going to get injured? I mean, we can't let them know. We just got to go in like gangbusters and, you know, knock it out. So, you know, bring in some gasoline, some jerry cans, and just, you know, light that nest on fire.
And Destiny goes, okay, so we use bait, which, sorry guys, you know, this is just all hypothetical. We're going to, you know, we use bait. What's going to be like like, how are we going to get that message out to them, though?
What if we have Officer Park have Jeb become the face of this anti-new drug? Like, Jeb is going to let the community know what this is, and it's him that's letting the people know.
He's the Nancy Reagan of this situation.
I mean, I know it sounds a bit silly, but it does make sense. He's had direct dealings with it. He has been seen having by multiple people within the town, though they're young, having direct dealings with it. He is a member of this community in good standing and owns a business. This could actually work.
And even further, I mean, it would push the point to believe that, you know, or make Geek believe it, the Bechelou, because I tried to get in with him, you know, and I went south. So he'll think that I was trying to do one over on him. I actually like that idea. I like that idea a lot. And so we just need to create an opportunity for the Bechelou to come to me. That's the next part.
And Park points out it could also kind of help you guys' image since you're, you know, kind of under legal scrutiny right now. A good community outreach kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, I mean, not only making you a person who who attacked him or what have you, or he attacked you, but also you messing with his plans in a public way. That might be the only way for us to get him anywhere in the open.
Yep. Yep. Pete, you're a smart man. I love that. All right.
Peter.
Peter, I'm sorry. I haven't spent too much time with my dad. Dear Lord. Peter.
Yeah, he's feeling a little under the weather today, but he's back at the homestead. To it, after all this, Clancy goes, he's like, well, not gonna lie, I kind of would have preferred the kicking indoors and kicking ass kind of thing, but this sounds like a pretty good plan. Sounds pretty solid.
I think we're still get to kick some ass, but just in a different way.
Which brings us to the next question: how are we going to dispose of him?
Mm-hmm. I think we have to contain him and then destroy the containment. As I previously said, it has to be some sort of way that we know none of the rats will escape because there's hundreds of them in that husk of his, and so you have to be able to contain all of them and destroy them all at once.
I want you all to make a let's say intelligence and politics roll, just flat, no modifiers one way or the other.
Just normal 2 die. 1 success.
I got a 10. Let me roll it up.
Yep, I got 10 as well.
And that's a 9. Okay. All right. So I got 2.
2 successes here.
Nice.
Okay. So, Beryl, you know that pretty much there's a old dirt road not terribly far from the college and the pickaxe.
Okay.
There is an old abandoned house that pretty much all the kids growing up was like, at least around your little bit of the community. You grew up there, didn't you, or did you not?
No, I actually didn't. But I have to assume I've heard from people like at the bar talking about it.
Yeah. We'll tell this together. You've heard people, locals and stuff talking about how, it's kind of always giving you the creeps. Jeb, that the local kids have always kind of said it was haunted pretty much, like no kids ever went around it. And Peter, that the property value is really freaking low. Like when you were first trying to move up here, you didn't want to live in that part of the neighborhood.
Oh God! All right.
So
Scott Kane.
But yeah, it would be ideal, pretty much.
And it's probably dilapidated and nasty and gross, right? So
yeah,
that criteria.
Yeah, it's the kind of place that if it's caught fire, it would not be a stretch for the town to say, well, either some kids were, maybe smoking a joint or something like that and dropped it on a mattress, or some homeless person, burned the place down. It would not be a huge burden, and it's the kind of place that if it burned to the ground, no one would miss it, and everyone would be like, "Oh, okay,"
About time.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so I guess we convey that to the werewolves then and tell them about that little spot.
Okay. So, at which point, Clancy goes, so what if we change it a little bit? What if we somehow, because, it seems really difficult to you becoming the public face of all this. I like the idea of, letting him know that you're going to put an end to this kind of stuff. But at the same time, how do we know he's going to be watching TV or looking on Facebook or reading a newspaper? What if we found a way to directly give him the message?
I could walk up and tell him.
Cell phone, right? Or
well, you don't necessarily have his cell phone number. But we do know
Rat. Yep.
Yeah,
well, we could just have Rat tell him. We could just have Rat tell him. Well, literally just use Rat as the the middleman. He conveys.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that would probably work out. And they still don't know that we're tied to all this.
Mm-hmm.
And even more here. All right, so you have a Rat because he knows that we've talked to Rat, we hang out with Rat, but then Rat can be, playing his friend, tell him like, yeah, Jeb's, the new face against your drug man. I don't know what it is. And then he just lets it slip that I've been out at that old house, someone bought that property and, paid me to restore it. So I've just been spending most of my time there, and that's where he can find me.
Okay. Clancy goes, "That's a damn good idea, guys. That's a damn good idea."
Then that gives us time to maybe do some DIY around this house to make it more advantageous for us. I can
do that.
We can
a bunch of accelerant all over the place.
Yes, we can do things like that, and then we get them in
Set up
there.
swinging paint cans, like hide the tarantula around.
I have a box, and Peter starts digging into a place. Like, I have a box of Christmas ornaments. I've been meaning.
Oh my gosh!
But yes, this could be.
Yeah, this could go off very, very well.
It could be terrible, but it could work.
I feel hopeful.
Which part goes? He goes, rigging the house to our favor. That's a really good idea, Peter. That's a really good idea.
And I don't know if you all know this about me, but me and my dad would always just go and set up traps in the woods, and I did as a kid. So, I got my fair share of tricks up my sleeve, and it also helps that I got that anarchist cookbook before it was illegal, and I have read that cover to cover multiple times.
Why does that not surprise me?
Is Jeb a sovereign citizen?
He'll not comment on that.
We're going.
Oh no!
All right, we're going to stop the.
Wait! As things die down, and we all kind of like, yeah, good. And there's a quick silence, and from the werewolf exhibit, you hear a kind of a muffled voice go, "Werebusters!" and Peter's just like, oh God, I'm so sorry. And the wiring must be a bit off, and he goes.
Yes.
That's perfect.